What's up, everybody? It is Broken Havoc here, right here on the Broken Havoc podcast, here to review AEW Dynamite from December 22nd, 2021. Happy holidays, everybody. Happy holidays from the Broken Havoc, the one and only, right here on YouTube. Yes, I haven't been making videos in a while because I've been spending time with the family for the holidays. It's been Christmas. Come on, I'm not gonna make any videos during Christmas, but honestly, I hope you guys had a really good holiday season. I know I did. I know you guys did, definitely. But we're going to be discussing AEW's Holiday Bash, of course, for Dynamite. There's going to be no SmackDown review, mainly because of the fact that that show is already pre-taped, and I already saw all the spoilers for it, and I feel like there really isn't anything for me to review on SmackDown. I know Toni Storm lost to Charlotte Flair, but honestly, I just didn't care that much for SmackDown. But I will give you my Rampage review. I think it's, Rampage was a really good show. We had Cody versus Sammy for the TNT Championship. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on that match in the end of that review. But we're going to be discussing Dynamite almost after a whole week of not giving you guys videos. Of course, my last review was the Rampage review. I think it was the Rampage review or the Raw review. I clearly don't remember, but that's my fault. But yeah, I'm going to be discussing Dynamite. Overall thoughts, I thought this was a really good show, in my opinion. I thought the show it flowed really well. Adam Cole versus Orange Cassidy was awesome. We had the freaking debut of the one and only KYLE O REILLY. Yes, the Undisputed Era is back in AEW, which is awesome to see, and we're definitely going to see what goes down. So I'm going to be talking about Dynamite right now, but before I get into the review, make sure to like and subscribe for more content and push that bell for more notifications. So yeah, overall thoughts on Dynamite. I thought Dynamite was a pretty good show, as I stated earlier. Of course, the opening match is Adam Cole, baby, of course, part of the Super Click with the Young Bucks. Kenny Omega, of course, is out after his loss to Hangman Adam Page at Full Gear, going up against Orange Cassidy. I honestly thought this was a really good match. Really, really good match in my opinion. Both men tore the house down. Every freaking week on Dynamite, it always starts off hot. It doesn't start. It barely sometimes starts off with like a 20-minute segment like WWE does. Now, granted, we had that MJF versus CM Punk verbal altercation that we had on that Thanksgiving episode, which was amazing. But let's be straight up. Almost every week on Dynamite, AEW puts out a banger as the opener for the show because they really want the show to start off hot. And we got that with Adam Cole and Orange Cassidy. Of course, as I stated earlier, we saw the debut of KYLE O REILLY. Of course, no longer with the WWE, as he decided not to re-sign a new contract with the WWE, and he basically escaped the nightmare that is NXT 2.0, which I don't watch. I don't watch NXT 2.0. I watch a little bit of there and there of that show. Of course, Braun Breaker, which I don't know why they call him Braun Breaker, but he's a Steiner. He's a Steiner. He's not Braun Breaker. To me, he's a Steiner, and he resembles a lot from his uncle and his father. But yeah, like really, I don't care a lot about NXT 2.0. Honestly, there's no reason for me to watch the show. I just don't care about that show at all. I only watch Raw and SmackDown, and of course Dynamite and Rampage. But we got Adam Cole and Orange Cassidy having a freaking awesome match. The start of the match, both guys play mind games with each other. We get a side headlock takeover by Orange Cassidy. We get a kick by Adam Cole, then a side headlock takeover again by Cole. Or no, by Cole, because previously it was Cassidy. Then we get a roll up by Cassidy. We get a near fall. We get a couple of arm drags by Cassidy. We get a roll up by Cassidy and a near fall. We get a side headlock by Cassidy. Then Cole at this point is in control. We get a kick by Cole. Then we get a wrist lock applied by Cassidy. We get a roll up and a near fall. Headlock at this point is applied. Cassidy tries to escape, but Cassidy gets taken to the corner. He rolls out of the way, but we get a roll up by Cassidy. We get a near fall. Then Cassidy applies a backslide pin attempt. We get a near fall again. Cole then hits the backstabber, and then we get a right forearm by Adam Cole. Then we get an Irish whip in the corner by Adam Cole. Cassidy is on the top. We get a right hand by Cole. Cole also goes to the top. He tries to hit a suplex, but Cole casually pushes Cole down, which is hilarious. That was one of my favorite moments of the match. We get a crossbody by Cassidy, and then Cassidy then hits a DDT. Then we get a cover by Cassidy, but we get a kick out. Then the Young Bucks and Brandon Cutler come out. Cassidy is on the top and takes out Cutler. The Best Friends then come out and attack the Bucks. Then Cassidy hits the Tumpe Suicida, aka the Suicide Dive. Then Cole drives Cassidy twice on the steel steps. Cole then wanted to hit the boom on Cassidy on the steel steps, but duck and Cole runs into the steps, which definitely looked devastating. We get once we go to commercial break, Cassidy is in control. Cole gets driven to the guardrail during the break, but then Cole regains control. Once we're back from commercial break, both Cassidy and Cole exchange shots. Cassidy goes for those amazing punches and those amazing kicks. Like, we all know Orange Cassidy's amazing at that shit, right? You know what I'm saying? Then after that, Cassidy hits a super kick. Then Cole hits a kick after that. Thrust kick again by Cassidy. Cole then counters with a brainbuster on the knee. Then Cole picks up Cassidy. Cassidy fights back. We get a pump kick by Cole. Tries to hit a brainbuster, but Cassidy counters with a cutter. Then Cassidy off the top hits a diving DDT on Cole. Then Cole regains control. Cole then goes to the top. He wants to hit the Panama Sunrise, but Cassidy backs out. Then we get a roll up by Cassidy. Then we get a near fall. Then Cassidy hits the Michinoku driver on Adam Cole. We get a cover and a near fall. Cassidy then puts his glasses on because he wants to flex, of course. Then we get a roll up by... No, wait, crap. He puts his hands in his pockets and then runs into a super kick by Cole. Then Cole goes to the top. He hits the Panama Sunrise. We get a cover and we get a shocking near fall. Cole misses the boom. Cassidy then hits the beach break out of nowhere. Then we get a cover and a near fall. Then he wants to hit the orange punch, but Cole retreats to the outside. Then all of a sudden, what happens? Bobby Fish comes out, and this is where shit gets interesting. So Bobby Fish comes out, attacks at Cassidy, and then we get a boom by Adam Cole. Well, actually, no. Crap. I literally messed up my notes right there. My apologies. So Bobby Fish comes out. He distracts the referee, and what happens is KYLE O'Reilly. Yes, KYLE O'Reilly comes out of nowhere. So, well, the Undisputed Era is finally complete. So KYLE O'Reilly comes out. He attacks Cassidy when the referee wasn't looking. We get the boom by Adam Cole and then wins the match. Holy shit, we got KYLE O'Reilly, now part of AEW. KYLE O'Reilly is all elite. What are my thoughts on this? This is going to be awesome. Having KYLE O'Reilly in is amazing. We got the original 3 members of the Undisputed Era in AEW right now. Honestly, I do not know what they're going to be calling the Undisputed Era. Probably going to be calling them the Undisputed Elite. But what happens after the match is actually really interesting. So after that, Riley attacks Cassidy, and then Cole and O'Reilly face off, and they look really pissed at each other. And when I first saw this, I was like, bro, are they really playing out still that they're enemies? Because they've been feuding all throughout this year in NXT. Are they playing that out? But apparently that's not the case. All 3 of them stand tall. The Bucks come in, and the Young Bucks absolutely look suspicious. So what the hell is going to be happening here? This is actually going to be really interesting because I've been advocating, and I've stated this previously in my last Dynamite review. When they bring in the whole Undisputed Era in, we're going to have Cole definitely turn on the Super Click or the Elite. And then once Kenny Omega comes back, there's going to be a whole feud probably leading throughout the whole year. And, I was advocating for this. We should get the Undisputed Era versus the Elite inside Blood and Guts. To me, I feel like they need to do that. I feel like they're setting up for something big. And, after this tease right here that Cole is just going to leave the Young Bucks for Bobby Fish and KYLE O'Reilly. Come on. You can easily do that. And you know what? I'm all in for it. Pun intended. I'm definitely 100% all in for it. But yeah, the Young Bucks look suspicious. Where is this going to lead to? I will say Blood and Guts. There's definitely going to be a whole feud coming in, and things are going to be really interesting once Kenny Omega returns after his long break, because he deserves a really long break because he carried the company for the past whole year with the AEW World Title. So once Omega comes back, for a fact things are going to get really interesting. We get a video package of Hangman Page and Bryan Danielson, which, of course, they ended in a time limit draw at Winter is Coming, which was an amazing-ass match. And it was announced that the rematch will happen on the TBS debut at the Prudential Center January 5th, which I finally got my ticket for. It's so crazy. As soon as they announced that match, And as soon as they announced that match, I was literally trying to get tickets out of nowhere, and tickets were flying fast on Ticketmaster. I shit you not. Like as soon as that announcement was made, like the majority of those remaining tickets were already sold. Like that is insane. But honestly, I'm glad that they're definitely going to have this match in the TBS debut because, it's on a new network. Granted, it's the same audience, but it's going to be on a new network. And really, they're trying to make this whole thing a big deal. And quite frankly, it is a big deal. And it's going to be really awesome to see AEW back on the mothership on the Superstation. But it's going to be amazing to see. Now, how will this match end? Honestly, I was thinking about it's probably going to end in another time limit draw. But who knows? I was saying earlier on my previous Dynamite review that Hangman and Danielson should be at Battle of the Belts, but that's not going to happen considering the fact that the show is only going to be 1 hour, which I'm going to be 100% honest. I'm kind of disappointed that Battle of the Belts is only going to be 1 hour. I expected that show to be like 2 hours, but that's not going to be the case. But who knows? Maybe they got things planned for Battle of the Belts. We only got one match announced for Battle of the Belts, and that's Riho versus Britt Baker. But, we got Hangman versus Danielson in New Jersey. Amazing. Again, AEW loves Jersey. WWE hates Jersey. All right. So Tony Schiavone interviews the AEW World Champion Hangman Adam Page. He talks about his match with Danielson and says, last week, he never felt less of a champion. The only feeling he has is disappointment because of the fact that the match ended in a time limit draw, and he was this close to beating Danielson, but of course the time limit expired. So what happens after that? After that, he says, here's the thing that he doesn't want to happen. He's not going to wrestle till January 5th, and then he's going to come out here with a solution. So at this point, Bryan Danielson comes out, and he says that, he kicked his ass for 60 minutes, all that type of stuff. And he proposes in their match that there should be judges, for this match to have no time limit draw or whatever. And he says he will beat him in less than 1 hour. So Danielson is still pissed off about the fact that he couldn't beat him in basically a whole hour, and he's proposing judges. Now, who do I think those judges are going to be? Honestly, I do not know. I do not know who those judges are going to be for that particular match. But honestly, it could be someone huge. Who knows? But it's going to be really interesting to see the finish for this match because, these guys wrestled a classic at Winter is Coming, and they're definitely going to top that in New Jersey, considering the fact that it's the first show on TBS. And I wouldn't be surprised if that match opened up the show, in my opinion. I mean, that's just my view. I definitely do think that that's going to open the show. But, we're going to be getting Hangman versus Danielson 2. Sign me up. I'm going to watch that match live. I'm 100% excited. It's my second AEW event back at the Prudential Center. Damn, these people love Jersey. But it's going to be awesome to see. MJF in the Pinnacle backstage says that he's not worried. He says he knows basically Darby Allin and Sting and CM Punk know nothing about family and says that they will be beating them in the main event tonight. So typical heel promo by MJF, but of course they're going to be wrestling in that 6-man tag, which by the way, that 6-man tag that ended Dynamite tonight was really, really good in my opinion. It was a really, really fun match. Sting looked absolutely great. I dug his face paint, by the way. I dug his CM Punk face paint. It was just fucking awesome. But yeah, we got Wardlow in action. So we got Wardlow versus a random jobber or enhancement talent, as WWE would like to say, Sean Dean. This match was really short. Honestly, this was just your typical Wardlow squash match. Basically, both lock up. We get a powerbomb by Wardlow, and then he powerbombs him again. Then we get a third powerbomb by Wardlow, and then hits another powerbomb. We get a cover, and he wins the match. And then all of a sudden, Spears hits him with the chair, and who knows? I mean, Wardlow is definitely not listening to Sean Spears and basically just going rampant. Wardlow is just going rampant in his matches recently. Is this teasing a split from the Pinnacle? Honestly, I do not know. Hopefully it is, because I do think Wardlow has the potential to be a major star, but who knows where AEW is going to go with this. Honestly, they can go many different routes with this whole scenario when it regards to Wardlow, but I don't know. Honestly, again, many different scenarios and many different possibilities. So we get a video package of Cody Rhodes versus Sammy Guevara at the Rampage Holiday Bash, which, by the way, spoiler alert, Cody beats Sammy Guevara, and the crowd was absolutely pissed. But I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on that on the Rampage review. This is Dynamite. But I will say this. The match was really good. You know, their first match on the first Dynamite, October 2nd, 2019, was amazing. This, I don't want to say topped it, but it was a pretty good match. And there's a lot of mini teasers out there revolving around Cody Rhodes, and I think you know what I'm talking about. All right. We get Dan Lambert in the skybox. Yes, Dan Lambert makes a return again. He basically cuts a typical Dan Lambert promo, just running down Tony Khan and basically, you know, saying that, you know, you are only successful in AEW if you're friends with Tony Khan. And then if you're friends with Tony Khan, you are an EVP. And then basically puts over the men of the year, of course, that being Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. And then after that, he basically challenged whoever wins the TNT Championship match on Rampage, of course, either Sammy Guevara or Cody Rhodes. And he basically states, you know, that the TNT Championship is going to come back to the men of the year. Or is going to come to the men of the year, I should say. But yeah, I don't think, you know, either Scorpio Sky or Ethan Page are going to take the belt off of Cody Rhodes. I feel like, you know, we're probably going to see Hook beat Cody Rhodes. Who knows? But that's me far-fetching. All right, we got Britt Baker and Tony Schiavone at the holiday party. Talks about the match that she's going to have with Riho at Battle of the Belts. And says 2022 is going to be the year of Britt Baker. Says she will beat Riho at Battle of the Belt and retain her championship. That's basically the promo she cut. Yeah, do I think Riho is going to beat Britt Baker at Battle of the Belts? No, I don't think Riho is going to beat Britt Baker at all. I feel like the woman that's going to beat Britt Baker is Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa, bro, again, I keep on stating this on my Dynamite reviews. Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker have really good chemistry with one another, and I 100% believe that, you know, they will put on a classic on pay-per-view and Thunder Rosa will go over and win the title. Now, of course, that is if she beats Ruby Soho and, you know, goes to the TBS championship match, because we all know that Thunder Rosa and Ruby Soho are definitely going to be the finals. You know, that's just like the obvious thing that's going to happen. Thunder Rosa and Ruby Soho are going to be the finals for the TBS championship tournament. Period. I don't think Jade Cargill is going to beat Thunder Rosa at all. I think they're wrestling this Wednesday on Dynamite at New Year's Smash. So, who do I think is going to be winning that match? It's 100% going to be Thunder Rosa, and then the finals is going to be Ruby Soho versus Thunder Rosa. And honestly, that match is going to be really good, and I think probably Thunder Rosa will beat Ruby Soho, or maybe Ruby Soho will beat her. I honestly don't know. It's a win-win scenario, honestly. Both of them aren't a bad category for the first TBS champion. That's just me. But we get Nyla Rose versus Ruby Soho. Whoever wins enters the finals of the TBS Championship tournament. Overall thoughts on this match? It was a pretty okay match. It was not the best match in my opinion. I knew right from the get-go that Ruby Soho was going to go over. Nothing against Nyla Rose, but I feel like Nyla Rose, you know, I feel like the thing about Nyla Rose is that, like, I've been a fan of Nyla Rose, right? But I feel like after she lost the title, she just kind of gotten stale a little bit. That's not her fault. I feel like, you know, she's not really as interesting as she once was. And honestly, I feel like, you know, she should have been the first AEW Women's World Champion. She should have beat Riho on that first show, because I felt like they were betting more on Nyla Rose than they were on Riho. But of course, they had Riho go over, and Riho became the first women's champion. I thought that was the wrong decision in my opinion, but it is what it is. But overall thoughts on this particular match. Of course, I knew, again, Ruby Soho was definitely going over in this match. The match, again, wasn't that great, but it did its job. Nyla attacks Ruby before the match starts. We get repeated rights by Nyla. Ruby fights back. We get a kick by Ruby. Takes down Ruby. Nyla is in control. Throws Ruby across the ring. Ruby with a couple of elbow strikes. We get a couple of elbows by Nyla Rose. Then Nyla plants Ruby to the mat. Then we get a clothesline by Nyla. Then throws Ruby to the outside. Nyla then with a double sledge on the outside after that. Then Ruby fights back. We get a couple of chops by Ruby on the outside. Then Ruby continues to fight back. We get a headbutt by Ruby Soho. Then after that, Ruby tries to go through Nyla, but Nyla ducks and drives herself into the steel steps. Once we go to commercial break, Nyla is basically dominating over Ruby Soho. She is in control. Once we're back from commercial break, Ruby tries to get the advantage, but we get a swinging DDT counter by Ruby Soho. Then we get a cover and a near fall. Then Nyla grabs the chair, but Ruby drop kicks her onto the chair. Ruby goes to the top, but Vicky takes her down. Nyla goes to the top and hits a flying knee drop. Then after that, we get a cover and a near fall. Nyla takes Ruby to the corner. We get a kick by Ruby. We get a couple of right forearms by Ruby. Ruby then applies the standing dragon sleeper. Vicky tries to distract the referee. Ruby attacks Vicky. Then Nyla hits the beast bomb. Then we get a cover and a near fall. Then Nyla is on the top. Then Nyla goes off the top, but then Ruby takes her down and hits a kick. We get a cover and wins the match. Ruby Soho advances to the finals of the TBS Championship tournament. Again, pretty obvious. I knew this was going to happen. Again, it's going to be Thunder Rosa versus Ruby Soho, and they're going to play it back from, of course, when they were the final two at the Casino Battle Royale at All Out. Overall thoughts, an okay match. It was not the best, but it is what it is. We get a video package of Serena Deeb and Hikaru Shida. Yes, their feud was not finished yet. They're going to continue feuding. And then we get Malachi Black versus Griff Garrison. Malachi Black versus Griff Garrison. This wasn't a long match. Again, knowing the booking of Malachi Black and Griff Garrison, you obviously know who's going to go over. They're definitely building up Malachi Black to be a big star. And you know, the hype with Malachi Black is insane. But I knew, Malachi Black, of course, is going over. It's the most logical choice. This match wasn't short either. He basically murdered Griff Garrison. Griff did get a little bit of offense, but let's be honest, Malachi just destroyed him. Griff runs into a high kick by Black. Black goes to the outside and faces Pillman, but out of nowhere, Griff hits a suicide dive. Griff is gaining the advantage, but then we get a couple of kicks by Malachi. Then he applies a heel hook on Griff Garrison. He kicks again in the corner by Black. Then Griff takes Black to the rope. Then we get a boot by Griff Garrison. Then, after that, he hits a rolling elbow. We get a cover and a near fall. Griff tries to hit a side slam, but Black counters into a knee strike. Then he applies the single leg Boston Crab. Griff taps out of nowhere, and Black wins the match. Then, out of nowhere, Pillman then goes for the attack, but Malachi hits the Black Mask on Pillman, and that's that. So, what I think is going to be happening, honestly, I don't know. I assume there's going to probably be a match between Brian Pillman Jr. and Malachi Black, but I don't think that's going to be the case. But yeah, Malachi Black went over, and he's going to be he's going to be running through the entire roster for the next couple months, which is good because then you're building him up, and possibly he'll be a future TNT champion. I definitely do think that because there's a lot of things going on right now in the main event scene, and I feel like there's a lot of plans that AEW has for the main event scene right now that I don't think. Malachi Black is a main event guy, period. And I think he can fit in there. But I think at this point, there's just so much stuff going on in the main event scene with, possibly MJF winning the world title, Hangman, Adam Page, Danielson, possibly Adam Cole being part of that main event scene. There's just a lot of things going on right now. But I definitely do think that Malachi will definitely be, 100% be part of the main event. I just don't think right now is the case because of the fact that there's just so much stuff going on. But Malachi Black is on a tear as usual, which is great to see. We got a backstage segment with Matt Hardy and Private Party. It says Private Party will beat Jurassic Express. And then the Jurassic Express and Christian Cage cut a babyface promo, of course, saying that they will beat them as well. And yeah, so after that, we got our main event of the evening. We got MJF and FTR versus Sting, Darby Allin, and CM Punk. CM Punk comes out in Surfer Sting face paint, which looked pretty awesome. Darby Allin came out in pink Sting face paint, which looked amazing. And Sting came out in CM Punk face paint, which, bruh, Sting always had, and I mean this, like, in his TNA days, he had some badass face paint. Like, he had some really, really badass face paint. Like, dead ass. Like, I can remember, like, his face paint from Bound for Glory 2006 when he was wrestling Jeff Jarrett. Like, that was some badass face paint. That was just some really badass face paint. Like, Sting knows how face paint works, period. But what are my thoughts on this match? This match was really good in my opinion. I really enjoyed this match. It was really fun to watch. Of course, MJF throughout the beginning stages of the match wasn't wrestling at all because he was doing what a typical heel does, and that is run away and let FTR do all of the work. But the match starts. Punk and MJF start, but MJF tags Dax Harwood. We get a side headlock takeover by Dax on Punk. Again with the takeover by Harwood. And then we get a slap by Dax Harwood. And then Punk then slaps Dax back. Then both lock up. We get a shoulder tackle by Dax. Punk with the hip toss. And then we get an arm drag by Punk. Then Cash Wheeler tags in. We get a body slam by Punk. Darby tags in. He applies a side headlock. Darby is in control. Then MJF tags in. MJF then gets chased by Punk around the ring. Punk tags in. Cash at this point is legal. We get a wrist lock applied by Wheeler. Then Punk applies the wrist lock again. Sting at this point makes the tag. MJF tags in. We get a clothesline by MJF. After that, CM Punk tags in. MJF runs away, and what happens is that Punk chases MJF throughout the crowd, which was hilarious. That was one of my favorite moments of the match, where MJF just runs away, and then Punk just they both go through the crowd, and they go back, which is hilarious. Like that was entertaining to see. Both get back in the ring. Dax tags in. Darby then hits a suicide dive on FTR and MJF. Once we go to commercial break, Punk is working on Cash Wheeler during the break. The baby faces at this point are in control of the match. Once we're back from break, Darby is the legal man. Cash takes Darby to the top rope. Dax sends Darby to the guardrail. MJF takes Darby to the ring. After that, Dax tags in. We get a leg drop by Dax. MJF tags in. He spits water on Punk. Then MJF and FTR work on Darby in the corner. And then we get a chin lock applied by MJF on Darby Allin. Gouges the eyes of Darby. And then Dax tags in. Then after that, we get a couple of chops by Dax. And then we get a slam by Dax. Then Cash tags in. We get a stomp by Cash. And then a slam by Cash. MJF tags in, and then we get a slam by MJF. So, there's a whole series of slams going on at this point. Then Dax is legal, slams Darby. Cash tags in, tries to hit the body slam, but Darby rolls him up. We get an ear fall. Then Darby with the slam on Cash Wheeler. Sting tags in, goes after FTR, then sends Dax to the turnbuckle. We get a back body drop by Sting. Then we get a Stinger splash. Then on Cash. Then we get a coffin splash by Darby in the corner, and then Punk with a rising knee strike. Then we get a Stinger splash again. Sting applies the Scorpion Deathlock, but MJF interferes. Dax with the cover, we get a near fall. Once we are back from commercial break, Sting and Cash are in the ring. Dax tags in, works on Sting in the corner. Sting catches Dax and hits a body slam. Then MJF tags in. Sting delivers drives MJF to the canvas. Then MJF gets hit with the Nutcracker. Then Punk tags in, works on everyone. Punk then hits a leg lariat, and then we get a couple of knee strikes by Punk in each corner of the ring, which was awesome. Then we get a running bulldog clothesline combo by Punk. Then we get a suicide dive by Punk after that. Then we get a diving crossbody by Punk. Punk then tries to set up the GTS, but Cash escapes. Fights off both members of FTR. Punk hits a neckbreaker on Dax Harwood. Then we get a cover and a near fall. Punk then goes to the top, but Dax catches Punk. We get a couple of chops by Dax. Also goes to the top. Both exchange shots at the top. Dax Harwood gets taken down, but Dax comes back and then hits a freaking superplex. So it was crazy. That was a nice comeback. Then Dax hits a splash off the top. We get a cover and a near fall. Then Darby out of nowhere takes out Cash. We get a roll up by Dax. We get a near fall. Then we get a roundhouse kick by Punk on Dax. MJF comes in. Then he hits a DDT, but Sting comes in. Then Sting works on MJF. MJF gets thrown on the outside on FTR. Then Sting goes to the top. We get a diving crossbody by Sting. Punk sets up the GTS for MJF, but Dax takes the fall. So that was great to see, because if they had Punk hit the GTS on MJF and then he pinned MJF right there in the match, I felt like that would have been a dumb decision. That would be something that WWE would do, but thankfully they didn't do that. But instead, Dax took the fall and he hits the GTS on Dax. Then Sting hits the Scorpion Death Drop on Dax, and then we get a coffin drop by Darby on Dax Harwood. We get a cover, and CM Punk, Sting, and Darby Allin win this match. Overall thoughts on this match, I thought this was a really good match. I thought, this match was fun to watch. It was a really entertaining match to see. MJF was, in my opinion, one of the highlights of this match. The fact that he was just being, of course he's always a heel. That's what he's supposed to do. He basically did not wrestle for like the beginning stages of the match, which was hilarious. And of course that spot, I don't want to say spot, but that moment where he was chased around by CM Punk through the crowd, that was one of the highlights of the match too. But it was really interesting that Dax Harwood took the fall for MJF, which again was the logical choice to do. I don't think that CM Punk, having CM Punk pin MJF right then and there in that match would be the right decision. I think, they will wrestle one-on-one, and who knows what the outcome is going to be, but I definitely do have my faith in AEW that they will deliver a really, really good match between both MJF and CM Punk. But that was my AEW Dynamite Holiday Bash review from December 22nd, 2021. Honestly, I thought this was a really good show. Really fun show to watch. Adam Cole and Orange Cassidy was amazing. The debut of KYLE O'Reilly and all the possibilities that can just happen within the next couple of months regarding the Super Click and the Undisputed Era, whatever's going to go down. There's a lot of things that are just really interesting right now, and I'm really excited to see what goes down. Hopefully, I have my fingers crossed that we will get blood and guts between both the Undisputed Elite, if they will call them that, versus the Elite once Omega comes back. It's just going to be awesome to see. It's going to be really fun television to watch. And at the end of the day, enjoy what you are watching, because we'll probably never get moments like this again. And yeah, that was my Dynamite review for December 22nd, 2021. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, push that bell for notifications, and be on the lookout for more reviews on the Broken Havoc podcast. And from me, this is Broken Havoc from the Broken Havoc podcast, signing out.